Once upon a time, in a small village called Oko, there lived a rich and beautiful princess named Adise. She was the daughter of King Chijioke, the ruler of the kingdom. Adise was known far and wide for her beauty. Her skin shone like the early morning sun, and her eyes sparkled like the stars at night. She had long, shiny black hair that flowed down her back like a river, and her smile was so bright it could light up the darkest room. Many people admired Adise, not just for her beauty, but because she was also very smart and kind. She helped the poor and often visited the sick. She was loved by everyone in the kingdom except for one thing: no man wanted to marry her. This was strange because Adise was not only beautiful, she was also very rich. Her father, King Chijioke, had promised that whoever married Adise would inherit half of his kingdom. But still, no man wanted to come forward to ask for her hand in marriage. One day, King Chijioke called his daughter to his royal chamber. "My daughter," he said, "you are the most beautiful woman in this land, and yet, no man has asked to marry you. Do you know why?" Adise sighed and shook her head. "No, father, I do not understand it either." The king looked at her with concern. "Perhaps they are afraid because you are so strong and independent. Some men may feel they cannot take care of a woman who is already so powerful." "But, father," Adise said, "I do not need a man to take care of me. I just want someone who will love me for who I am." The king nodded. "I understand, my child. But still, you deserve to have a husband who can stand by your side." Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months. Still, no man came to ask for Adise's hand in marriage. The people in the village started to gossip. Some said Adise was too proud, others said she had hidden magic that scared men away. But none of it was true. One day, a poor hunter named Amaka came to the palace. He had heard the stories about Princess Adise and wanted to see her for himself. Amaka was not rich or powerful, but he was brave and had a kind heart. When he entered the palace, he saw Adise sitting in the royal garden, surrounded by flowers. She looked even more beautiful than he had imagined. But Amaka did not feel afraid. He walked up to her and said, "Princess Adise, you are as beautiful as the stories say, but I have heard many strange things too. Why do you think no man wants to marry you?" Adise smiled at him, surprised by his boldness. "I do not know, Amaka. Maybe because they do not know me well enough. Or maybe because they are too afraid to try." Amaka thought for a moment, then said, "Well, I am not afraid. I may not be rich, but I believe that love is more important than wealth. If you will have me, I would like to get to know you better." Adise was touched by his words. She had never met anyone like Amaka before, someone who wasn't scared of her or her riches. But before she could say anything, her father, King Chijioke, appeared in the garden. He had overheard the conversation and was curious about the young hunter who had spoken so boldly to his daughter. "Who are you, young man?" the king asked. "And why do you think you are worthy of my daughter?" Amaka bowed respectfully and said, "I am Amaka, a humble hunter from a nearby village. I have no wealth or title, but I believe that love and respect are the greatest gifts a man can offer. If your daughter allows me, I would like to prove my worth." "Amaka," the king finally said, "I appreciate your boldness, but my daughter deserves someone who can face great challenges and prove his bravery. If you truly want to marry Princess Adise, you must first pass a series of tests." Amaka's heart raced, but he stood tall. "I am ready, Your Majesty. I will do anything to prove myself worthy." Princess Adise looked at her father with concern. She didn't like the idea of someone risking their life just to marry her. "Father, do you think these tests are necessary? Amaka seems like a good man already." King Chijioke smiled warmly at his daughter. "I understand your concern, Adise, but these tests are important. They are not just about bravery, they will show if Amaka has the wisdom, kindness, and patience needed to be your husband and a leader in the kingdom." The next morning, the whole village gathered in front of the palace to witness the first test. Amaka stood in the middle of the large crowd, trying to calm his nerves. Adise watched from a distance, hoping her father wouldn't make the challenges too difficult. "For your first test," the king announced, "you must go into the deep forest and bring back the golden feather of the great eagle." The crowd gasped. The great eagle was a powerful and mysterious bird that lived high up in the mountains. Many hunters had tried to catch it, but none had succeeded. It was said that the eagle's nest was guarded by fierce animals, and that no one who went searching for the feather had ever returned. Amaka's heart pounded, but he refused to let fear take over. "I will bring back the feather," he said bravely. With nothing but a small bag and his bow, Amaka set off into the forest. The trees were tall and thick, blocking out the sunlight, and the sounds of wild animals echoed all around him. As he walked deeper into the woods, he kept thinking about Princess Adise. He didn't just want to pass the test for himself, he wanted to prove that he truly cared for her. Comment to see Friend Challenge.